Hi, I'm LadyJenevia. Welcome back to my Dickinson Season 2 reviews. This video is a spoiler-free review of next week's episode, episode 9, which is titled, I Like a Look of Agony. When you find out why the episode is titled that, well, I think we've all seen by now that the second half is a lot more dramatic and emotional than the first half was. We're starting to dig deeper into the layers of these characters and observe the culmination of the arcs that have been built up over the course of this entire season. But before I start hinting at this or that, I do want to share a song, as is customary. This week's song is called Forever's Gone by Drama. I will have that linked in the description box like I always do. That way you are free to go check it out. Perhaps you'll add it to your playlist. Speaking of music, and more specifically the music of Dickinson, some of you may remember that a couple of weeks ago, one of the songs that I previewed in a Dickinson review was by a pop duo called Money Cat. Well, over the last week, I randomly got a notification that Money Cat had posted on their Instagram story about my review and the fact that I had mentioned them in my review. They also proceeded to follow me. So I messaged back, we exchanged a few words, and then I asked on a whim if they wanted to do an interview, and they agreed. So at the time of me filming this review, I don't know just yet if I will have that interview posted first or if I'm going to post this video first. So if I haven't posted it yet, just keep an eye out for it and please check it out when I do upload it. And if I've already posted it and you have not already watched it, please go do so.
And the first words out of your mouth was, real quick, you guys, we have a song that you all need to listen to. It's Money Cat. And we were like, ah!
Yeah.
So
we're literally, we're huge fans of Dickinson.
Yeah.
We're huge fans of Hailee. And everyone on the show.
It's weird because I had mostly backed away from covering things to do with the music industry, but when I was writing this review, an old contact of mine messaged me asking if I could interview them to promote their new single that's coming out soon. I don't know why the music industry has all of a sudden decided it wants to be buddy-buddy with me, but worry not, my main focus is and will continue to be films, television series. That type of layered storytelling is really what I love to dig into, which brings us back to Dickinson, episode 9. Obviously, I cannot say too much, even though there aren't that many things left to spoil, because there are only 2 episodes left for this season. Episode 9 is not quite as surreal as episode 8 was, but I think by now we have figured out why episode 6 and episode 8 were such big, anticipated episodes according to the cast and crew as they've been promoting this season. There are still some revelations that will be coming out, though, that will make for good discussion in next week's spoiler review, and in a similar manner to how it was for episode 8, I will be going back and pointing out some things from previous episodes and explaining how those things that you already saw will resonate differently once you have new information that adds context, specifically information from this episode. I think out of everyone that gets featured in this episode, my favorite subplot is Lavinia and Ship, just because the world feels so horrible right now and they make me laugh, and it's just really nice to get to laugh when you're feeling sad. This episode features a lot of characters. It's actually really impressive how much they managed to cram in, considering that Dickinson is a half-hour show. I feel bad that I can't dig in more deeply into previewing what's coming up. I think that in a very general sense, without naming any specific characters, I like the emotional content for a lot of the characters that gets focused on in this episode. It feels like you're either getting a breakthrough or a revelation of sorts for a lot of the lead characters on this show. There are definitely some things that I've talked about fairly in depth in reviews that I have already posted that are going to be revisited when it comes time to talk about spoilers for this episode. There's also some really good commentary in this episode that I found funny. Remember how I often mention how the Dickinson showrunner, Elena Smith, has said that the show is meant to offer up commentary about our present day society and not just the 1800s? Well, there is a very specific joke or reference, as it were, that I am really excited to shout out in next week's spoiler review because I just found it to be so delightful. It's one of those things that as soon as you hear it, if you know what it's really referencing, I don't know how you can find it anything but funny. At least, I think the core Dickinson audience would appreciate a joke like the one that I'm tiptoeing around right now. I don't know what a lot of you hardcore Dickinson fans do during the week in between each episode airing. Maybe you've already been rewatching the episodes, so I don't need to suggest to you that you could rewatch them. But if you wanted to get ahead of figuring out what things might be coming in episode 9, it wouldn't be unreasonable for you to go back and watch those episodes to see how the context has changed for certain material that has now come out compared to when you first watched those episodes air. This is something that is unique to your viewing experience because when I first watched the second season, I was binging it all in one go, like how the first season was when it was released all at once. But since they switched to a weekly airing schedule, which I know a lot of you have been annoyed about, but what's cool about this is that you get to spend a lot more time digesting the material and you get to experience this journey over time. And you also get to play Benoit Blanc, searching for clues. A lot of you managed to figure out that Sam and Sue were having an affair before it was revealed on the show. And I am not saying this to be patronizing, but I genuinely feel that you should be proud of yourselves if you have or are developing those critical thinking skills to be able to pay attention to details and subtext like that. Also, if you didn't already know who Benoit Blanc is, it's Daniel Craig's character in Knives Out, which is one of my favorite films. I made a giant video essay about it. I have plugged it before, but I will plug it again. If you have not already watched it, it's on display on my YouTube channel profile. There are 4 separate uploads, and I had to upload them separately because of copyright issues. When you binge Dickinson Season 2 on a first watch, you don't necessarily get to appreciate the details as much as you do when you have to take time with it. I've definitely been able to pick up on more of those details and nuances as I've gone through each episode over the past few weeks to make these reviews. Episode 9 is another great episode, and of course I will have a lot to say about it, and I'm sure all of you will as well. I hope this spoiler-free review is okay. It was a little bit difficult to make because February to mid-March tends to be a challenging time for me, and then you combine that with all of these toxic celebrity men getting exposed for who they really are, and the upspike in violent attacks against elderly Asians or Asians in general that are happening right now. I can just feel how much all of that is weighing on me emotionally. So if any of you are struggling with because of these things that are happening right now and they're stirring up old wounds for you, please look after yourself, whether it's taking time off of social media, stop doom scrolling, reading a nice book, watching some cat videos. Just try to add some positivity to your daily ongoings because I know I need that advice. I'll be back next week with another spoiler review to discuss episode 9. Hopefully I will be a bit less morose then. Don't forget to like and comment since that really helps small channels like myself to get more visibility and to be more recommended on this platform. You can also follow my social media accounts. Everything is in the description box. Be well, look after yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.